edition rock and roll.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? It is Thursday, February 4th. This is the Chase Carter Concept Podcast. And I just need to get into it. Right into it. I just want to know how I'm feeling, how I'm getting. This is very therapeutic to talk. We're going to talk about girlfriend stories. I have a friend who's very, at least egotistical. There's a sport argument in there, which was one of the weirdest arguments, and then backtracking as well. Today it came out that with some political news, AOC was not in the Capitol building, that she kind of insinuated she was, which is interesting. Jeff Bezos stepping down from Amazon. What did he do? What did he do that he needs to step away? Oh, I need to. Who steps away from the most successful job in the history of jobs? Who steps? No, I'm good. He did something, or he's gonna do something, and I'm gonna speculate on that. LeBron James argues with a fan, or not even a fan, an Instagram influencer, some Botoxed, skin lifted, titty tucking, or tummy tucking, titty troubling non-basketball fan. First, if you go to a basketball game dressed like that, you're not a basketball fan at all. Zero. You do not like basketball. Ugh. Just the type of people that get to sit in the front row of NBA basketball games are, it's an event. They're not there for the actual basketball. Wouldn't you want a legitimate fan who you can just have her say, name two players on the team. Name two. Name, not on the Lakers, on the team that you're rooting for. Oh, you can't. Okay, good. And then, should I move out of California? Just thinking about it. What am I doing here? What are the prospects? Is the state going in the toilet? I don't know. I'm having trouble running a Sim City simulation. I'm trying to budget those books, and I don't even know how to do that. I can budget my own. I just save a whole bunch of money. I don't buy things. That's how I stay in the black. Yeah, the black. And that's another term that's positive. Yeah. Everyone talks about being blacklisted and all negative. Being in the black for a company is positive. Okay. So we got to take our victories where we can get it. The red is bad, but it's crazy. So my girlfriend, we've been hanging out playing Sea of Thieves like normal. Nothing's really changed. Best relationship I've been in so far. I've been with her 2 years, and she's definitely the best girlfriend I've had over the past 2 years. I told her that the other day. I was like, you know what? You're the best girlfriend I've had. I swallowed and I paused for the past 2 years. And she just looks at me like, you asshole. I never want to give her too many compliments. I always feel weird receiving and giving compliments. So if it's a compliment in the disguise of a joke or an insult, I feel more comfortable with that for some reason. Now, if I was some Hollywood celebrity, it's because of the trauma that I experienced. There was some guy, he made this terrible, it's on a podcast I watch called Your Mom's House, and he made this terrible video asking a girl out on a date. And it's just some of the corniest, cringiest footage you'll ever see. And then, so they found the guy, and then they interviewed him on the podcast. And this is a joking This is supposed to be fun. Make fun of somebody else or yourself. Give people a laugh. Supposed to be entertaining. And then they ask him, why did you make that video? Well, it's because I didn't have a father, and I didn't have a father growing up. And he got real serious. It's just, oh my. Okay, hey pussy. No women, they don't want to hear that. At least not off the bat. Or they might want to figure it out themselves after the relationship. You're supposed to stay quiet. Don't talk about your feelings initially. not up front. Okay, they want a man who doesn't show emotion a lot right at the start. They want someone who seems like they're in control, even if you're not in control. Pretend that you're in control. They want you to do manly shit. Granted, that's a wide variety of things. But what they don't want to say in the first 5 or 10 minutes of a conversation, yeah, I didn't have a dad, so I don't know how to act. I don't know how to be a man. Oh, you don't know how to be a man? Then I'm going to go find somebody who does know how to act like a man. A video, you don't send a woman a video to ask her out. That's mistake number one. You maybe send a text message. Even if you call somebody, that's even a cold call nowadays to talk, especially with young people. That's like asking them for their IRS information. Like, what is, get out of here. I remember growing up and people used to knock at my doors to just show up at my house surprisingly. I'm like, oh, hey, Chris, come on in. What are you doing? Not a damn thing. I was playing with my wrestlers. Aren't you in high school? I was still playing with my wrestlers, damn it. But it's real interesting how people always blame their upbringing or their the hand they were dealt. It's like, hey, guy or gal, there's someone out there. It doesn't make your complaints illegitimate, but there's people who are worse off than you, way worse. So just stop complaining about it. I was watching another pod. It was with Tim Dillon and Whitney Cummings. And Whitney Cummings was talking about, oh, as a woman in society, I have to work twice as hard for half as much. She's a millionaire. She's a female millionaire who made it writing jokes, being funny. You get paid. Nobody wants to hear a rich person. It was hard for you. Congratulations. You're successful now. So you can't complain about how hard it is. You can't unless it's going to turn people off. You can say how hard physical, actions are, if how difficult something was, or like an individual incident, like, yeah, this person was a dick to me. This is what happened. You can say that, but to just overall base, oh, it's so hard to be a woman in today's society. It was like men have the same argument about women. Men who want men. I use the term men loosely here in this example, but men who want to have a social media platform and get on Twitter and get Instagram followers and all that stuff. It's way easier for a woman to get followers. You don't hear men saying, it's really, I take a picture of my ass and nobody likes it. Nobody. I try to push my chest together. Nobody likes it. I try to push my tits. No, nothing. You know what men do? Men just see the landscape and then alter course and go with whatever is there. I don't think you can see not an injustice or a tilt in the system and then blame the system. It's the people. You like, oh, I was treated badly. So were a whole bunch of other people. And they became successful. Like, stop using whatever you are as an excuse. Or like, oh, I had it so tough. I have to work twice as hard. Just work hard. Are you successful now? You have millions of dollars. You could retire right now and be fine, be better than 99% of the people on the planet. What are you complaining about? If you want to jokingly complain about, minuscule things, well, I had to wait at Starbucks. It was unbelievable, man. But you have to be self-deprecating when you're having these conversations. Otherwise, you just come off as an asshole. Now, if your whole shtick is coming off as an asshole, then it works. But if you're trying to do a podcast, tell everyone about your feelings, be open, you can make mistakes. Of course you can. Who doesn't? I have, but I only have 5 listeners, and 3 of them are family relatives who I pay to watch or listen to the show. At least click on it, leave it in the background. But I just don't get the poor me. The actors coming out, like I've talked about before, the guy who played the snowman on what's that ice movie, Disney ice movie? Oh, I don't even remember. Let It Go. I can't even remember. Frozen. That's right. Olaf, the character's name was. He was crying because he couldn't go play pretend with his friends. You're crying. You're living in $1 million mansion or an apartment in Hollywood that costs millions, a one-bedroom apartment that costs millions of dollars. And this is really hard for me to not pretend. I'm missing my friends. I can't see them. Things have to change. It's very... Kristen Bell, another Frozen, was talking about the mental struggle. Now, if she's having personal issues that we don't know about, family, that's understandable. But if you're having mental issues, mental breakdowns, because you can't go play pretend, come on now. Don't complain. If you are, that's fine. But don't complain about it. Nobody who has real problems wants to hear you bitch. Well, I can't. I just don't know. I just had to spend an extra 30 minutes in my private sauna just to get out all the toxins. The toxins were in me. I can't be a Disney princess tonight. So my feelings, I'm just going to dress up and go on Instagram. These Hollywood people are turning into Instagram TikTok influencers. They're having red carpets on Zoom. What is going on? What is happening? You're supposed to have class. You're supposed to be know what's going on, but you don't. You're just lost like the rest of us. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. We're all kind of grasping for straws, just hanging on. Some are fine with just hanging onto the wall. Some want to climb. Others are like, fuck it, and just let go. But I just can't. When people complain, and if you have more than, I'd say $50,000 in the bank, I would say that. If you have more than that saved up, you're not allowed to complain, seriously complain about anything. You could go for months. You can lose your job. You can go for months, rent. Now, you can argue people living to paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck. Now, there are millionaires. There are people who make a whole bunch of money live paycheck to paycheck because they can't balance their budget. And if I say paycheck one more time, I'm going to punch myself. But I don't get. I don't get it. How can you be so not self-aware? I don't know if there's a word for that. I'm not smart enough to understand it. But I don't get it. To think that your life is tough. It was tough, but to then complain about it to your audience, and it's just, what? I use an analogy. Yeah, hey, dude, a stand-up comedian going up there. Yeah, man, my Ferrari broke down. You know how you can't. There's no lug nuts on a Ferrari rim. Yeah, it's like a special kind. So I had to call my Ferrari guy. Oh, it's so tough. Like, huh? And I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't know if Ferraris even have lug nuts. Do they? I know a lug nut is a thing that keeps the rim on the car. That's about it. No, to change my oil? Well, I don't even have oil. Don't even have a car anymore. I lived in San Diego and planned on going to open mics and being an open micer here in San Diego on my motorcycle. And then everything shut down. Oh, look at my life. You don't hear me complaining? I don't care. I'm fine. I'm completely okay. Am I going to go work out and eat in the next 3 hours? My life is better than 99% of the population. People freaking out. It's like AOC freaking out. Oh, my life is at stake. Was anyone that you saw around you trying to hurt you? No, but I heard noises. They were yelling, "Where is she? Where is she?" That was the police who were there to protect you. Okay. So you're just a drama queen. Anything that goes on. And then to come to find out the building that she was in when the Capitol riots happened was across the street. And her argument to that was, you don't know the layout, there's tunnels. Well, there's no reports of the rioters entering the tunnels. And there was also someone with you who tweeted out there were no rioters who you hid with. Okay, so if I want to see, could you imagine Capitol riots happen? The insurrection, those people dressed up as cosplay characters. Yeah, they were trying to overthrow the government. Yeah. Okay. Yikes. So if one politician just stood there and just was like, no. Could you imagine how popular he or she would be? Which just wasn't afraid. Can you imagine like them standing on a desk and then these people wouldn't have done anything to them. Wouldn't have done anything. Because they didn't do anything. They stole paperwork and laptops. Like They didn't go into, if you're trying, so I'm just trying to wrap my head, what they did, and they beat that cop to death. That was only, the other people who were involved in storming the Capitol. And if you die and you try to, I feel bad that you were tricked, but I don't feel sorry for you. You made that terrible decision. You're like, I'm going to do something illegal. The only person that, as far as I've followed, is the innocent cop that was killed. So I just got a question. So if you're trying to overthrow the government, if you think the government, hypothetically, is rigging elections, granted, Trump won the last election. So if the Democrats could rig the election, wouldn't they have done it last year? And wouldn't they have done it for all of the Republicans ever? The presidents aren't Democrat, right? It's weird. They can't even agree with themselves. The stimulus package hasn't even been, they said as soon as we get in there, we're immediately going to have $2,000 checks. Well, not 2,000. You already got 600. We're going to give you 1,400. Like that matters. People in America are like, well, first of all, we already knew that the government doesn't give two shits about us. They just want to do whatever the people who vote agree with so they can keep their power. But the whole idea of going into the Capitol building, taking over the government, a coup, they don't even have a lead. If you're gonna attempt a coup attempt, it's very, very flashy term. If you're gonna attempt that, you have to have someone to put in place. A coup. A coup. You need somebody to run things. Who was the leader of that group? Who stood out? The guy in the barbarian outfit stood out. No, it was just a bunch of pissed off people who wanted to, their guy lost the election and they wanted to smash some shit. They thought, hey, this game is it's rigged. It favors somebody that's not me. And then they go out and want to destroy stuff. And like the idea of somebody thinking that the government is against them, it's like, how dare you fight against the government? Well, if these people think it's a tyrannical government or it's unfair, you can't blame them for acting out. The founding fathers, the people who made this country, didn't like the way shit was ran. So they didn't come over here, but they were like, hey, we're going to get really far away from these people. They come here and it's like, hey, we're still going to tax you. And it's like, hey, we have no say in the matter. It's like Washington, D.C. You can't vote if you live in Washington, D.C. It's not a state or whatever. It's like, what? Huh? It's interesting. I lost my train of thought kind of on that. But you can't blame these people just because they're going against, anyone who fights against the government isn't necessarily like automatically a terrible person. You have to figure out the nuances. The same thing with murderers. Every woman in the world has watched Mindhunter and serial killer shows. And it explains the mind. How did how does a human being believe that and go into that kind of conspiracy theory rabbit hole and just goes down that alleyway or that tunnel, and they can't see anything else but what's right in front of them. They don't stop and look around and go, hey, what am I doing? Is what I'm doing what's best for the immediate people around me? And my analogy is people have so many ideas about funding, about where money should go, and they can't play SimCity without the unlimited money glitch, or they can't play Grand Theft Auto 5 without the unlimited. Oh, I have to work for I don't like working for the money and doing missions and then buying things. Well, that's how it works. I don't get it. And people think because of struggle exists, that we need to change something. That's the opposite. Struggle makes things better. And it depends on the struggle. Obviously, if you're, my girlfriend Corey was watching a movie about these workers. It was called American Radium, and they were being poisoned, and American Radium knew about it and hid the results, and it was poisonous, and it killed all these people, and they were hiding results, and oh, it was fine. And these people, and the women, it was all, for some reason, like women warehouse that worked there. And the people who died were their bones would emit radiation for like 1,000 to 2,000 years after they died. They said, I don't know if it's true, but you can go over the grave sites of these women and hold up a little Geiger counter and it would still click, because it would still tick. I was like, what? Is that true? I need the all-knowing Twitter fact checkers to go on there, to go each grave and see if that's true. Otherwise, that fictional Hollywood movie, it's like, they don't believe us because we're women. It's like, no, they don't believe you because they want to make money. Has nothing to do with your sexuality. Nothing. But it's just, oh. But I can't remember why I brought that story up. I'm not too sure. Anyway. Yeah, but I had a friend, not going to name names, but they were talking. I was like, yeah, I always see your podcast on my Spotify thing. I always laugh. I'm like, oh, I should give that a listen. And I'm like, my podcasts aren't for you. And she's all, what? That's a weird thing to say. I was like, well, one of them's a video game podcast, and the other one I'm just talking and ranting for an hour, trying to get better at coming up with stupid ideas that I can maybe make into a joke to be funny, to be entertaining, or at least for a little bit. And she's like, oh. She's like, well, I would only listen to it if you told a story about me. And I'm like, what? Don't listen. Don't listen. I don't want you to listen. In fact, if you subscribed, unsubscribe. That would be probably 25% of my subscribers. If that person unsubscribed, like, don't listen to it. I don't, because they heard me talk about other people in our immediate group, our hangout group, our group of friends. And because that person says something interesting. And I was like, oh, that's I never really thought about it. I want to look more into that kind of point of view, because I've never really hung out with someone who had that take on things. And so they're like, well, I heard you talk about them, but you didn't talk about me. I was like, well, you don't say anything that has really piqued my interest at a really, really high level. It's just normal, fun, casual conversation. Like, every conversation I have can't have me question my beliefs. Now, not every single one. There has to be some for, fun and entertainment. Like, and that's neither one of those things are your podcast, Chase. I know. But ooh-wee. But then the person tried to talk to me. And it was the dumbest argument I've ever, or take. The person said, Role players are more important than starters in any sport. And I'm just like, that's factually untrue. Factually untrue. And the person teaches sports. I'm like, that's really a cute thing to say. I'm sure that the little kids that you teach, it's very beneficial for them to hear that. But in reality, you need star players to win. Not a whole team of them, and it depends on the sport. You need a few. If you have a role-playing quarterback, your chances of winning the Super Bowl go down dramatically. You have to have a good quarterback, usually. Usually. Same thing with basketball. You have to have at least one star player. You can't have a bunch of role players. Now, if you have high-level role players, like the Detroit Pistons, you can say Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, and Ben Wallace. You can say none of them were superstar players. That's one championship, and they were high-level players. They were above average, and they all complemented each other. In very rare occasions, yes. But usually, you would need 1 to 2, and today with the Brooklyn Nets, you would need 3 superstars. And even then, they still give up 180 damn points a game because they don't play any defense. We're going to outscore you. You know the Harlem Globetrotters? That's going to be the Brooklyn Nets. We're just going to score, and you can't do anything about it. First to 140. Ready, go. I was like, are more important. And then I asked the person, who's more important, Steve Kerr or Michael Jordan? And the person said Steve Kerr. Because you can't win championships without good role players. It's like you can't win championships without superstars. It's not going to happen. Steve Kerr is a good player, a very good role player, but that's it. And I would say he's borderline a starter at times. He wasn't even. Maybe on some teams, maybe like if he didn't play for one of the greatest teams of all time, he could have started on a different team. I want to see if Steve Kerr actually started any games. Let me figure this out. Like there's a real easy way to see who the star players are and who are the most important players. They get paid the most. You don't think you think Alex Caruso is more important than LeBron James? You think Kyle Kuzma is more important than Anthony Davis? Huh? Hey, Anthony Davis, how much do you make? $40 million. Kyle Kuzma, how much do you make? Around 15. Oh, so everybody thinks in the organization that runs basketball that Anthony Davis is more important. Oh, okay. But this is what the person wanted. They wanted me to talk about them on the podcast. And I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about how dumb, how stupid that argument is. And it's just not smart. It's just not smart. From a sports perspective, it's not smart. So Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr. That's not Steve Kerr's son. No, I don't know, but don't want to know about his kids. I don't want to know anything about his personal life. See, another thing, we wanted to get into the athletes' personal lives and get to know them as a person. I don't want to get to know them as a person. I don't care. You look into those, like, I like Dwight Howard. I looked into Dwight Howard. He has 12 children, like a whole bunch of different baby mamas. And I'm like, that's not a guy I want. Oh, I liked you. But now you seem like just a normal douchebag athlete he's been going around the country sleeping and impregnating women on a constant basis. Steve Kerr career dunks. That's what they have. See, career stats. Oh, look at that Look at that very professional-looking man, young man in a suit. How many games did he start? I would say, let's see, how many years? Let me guess how many years he played. Played at Arizona State. Started in 1988 is when he first got in the league, and he left in 2002. Okay, so games start. So that's what? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years. He played 14 years. I would say Steve Kerr started under 50 games. 82 games in the season. Games started. First year, 0. Second year, 5, 4. That's 9. 20 in 1991 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. What'd I say? Under 50? So that's 20. Yep, under 50. Yep, knew it. I went a little high, too. He started 30 games his career. 30. Let's see. Well, what is, where is it? Where is it? I want to see Steve Kerr's salary, how much he made. Come on, scroll all the way down. All the way at the bottom. Steve Kerr and his, look at these NBA players bitching about today. Oh, how's the money? Steve Kerr made a total of $15 million his entire career. The most money he made was when he was a San Antonio Spur, $2.6 million. Now, according to his salary, that's when he played the best. It wasn't. That was just the league minimum at the time because of players like Michael Jordan. It's like they better latch on to these superstars. Who's more important? Unbelievable. It was just a topic that was brought up to get my gears going. And at first I thought it was a real argument, but I'm going to pretend it was a real argument because it's fun to point out how stupid people can be. Now this is interesting. A little video game news. Activision sued over female character in Call of Duty. Now Call of Duty is a huge franchise. Obviously, if you're a parent, you've heard of it. In 2019, Call of Duty Modern Warfare publisher Activision Blizzard introduced a new character to its game, an operator named Mara. A writer and photographer is now alleging that the company initially modeled Mara after his own character, Cade Janice, from a short story called November Resistance. And I'm going to tell you, the haircut is the same. First of all, Cade Janice is pretty hot. I'm not even going to lie. But the character looks pretty much identical. So it could have you got the black hair is the same. The little hair down the other side is the same. I mean, it's a hot chick with a certain haircut. So I don't know how, legally you can prove this point. It's just, it's a white chick with black hair that goes from her left side, come over, like little brush over. But it looks almost identical. But how many haircuts? There can only be so many haircuts. You have to make everybody unique. What's going on? It says plaintiff Clayton Hugan filed a copyright infringement lawsuit in a Texas court Tuesday. He alleged Activision Blizzard and developer Infinity Ward willfully intended to model Mara after Cade Janice, including hiring the same model, Alex Zedra, to reproduce the photo shoot and scan her likeness for use in the game. Well, if you're using the same model, you don't own the look of the actress. Haugen said developer posted his Cade Janice photographs on the photography studio wall during the Call of Duty Modern Warfare shoot. Oh, they put up that? That's it. I wonder if you can do that. Haug said he originally hired Zedra in 2007 to model the Cade Janice character before he pitched the story to movie studios. He later published photos on his website in a calendar and on Instagram. He says, in addition to hiring the same talent, they also hired the same makeup professional who had prepared the talent for Haugen's Cade Janice photographs. Lawyers wrote in the complaint. They instructed the makeup professional to prepare the talent exactly as she had done in the Haugen's Cade Janice photographs. They instructed her to style the talent's hair exactly how she had it in the short story. So but you're using the same, that's interesting. So if you get an actress, create a look for the actress, do you own that look? I would say. the makeup and all that. Can another company use that same actress and the same look? Because they're just copying the way the actress looks. So you can't own obviously someone else's face, right? I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting. I would like to. I want to keep tabs on this. Man, they have the whole legal document here. 22 pages. It's a good lawsuit. 22 pages. Here you go. No one's gonna read that. But I don't know if you can own somebody else's likeness and character if you don't name it the same thing. But then can another movie use can Johnny Depp do the Jack Sparrow character in a different movie, but not name it Jack Sparrow? Call him Jackie Sparrow, and just do something completely just his own thing? Would that be legal? He's like, no, I'm a completely different pirate. Completely. It's gonna be interesting. Archaeologists. It's a good one. This is a good one here. Archaeologists unearthed 600-year-old golden eagle sculpture at Aztec temple. It looks fucking awesome. But I can't tell if that's the floor or if it's just on the floor. Archaeologists conducting excavations at the Templo Mayor, or Great Temple in Mexico City, once home of the Aztec capital. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, have discovered a 600-year-old sculpture of a golden eagle. First of all, how do you know it's a golden eagle? How do you know? Huh? It's not golden. It's like a red. It's like a brick red. Golden eagle. Okay, Institute Technology. The eagle carved out of Tezontle, a reddish volcanic rock commonly used in both pre-Hispanic and modern Mexico. Measures 41 by 27 inches, making it the largest work found at the pyramid-shaped temple to date. It's a very beautiful piece, blah, blah, blah. It's really cool looking. It looks like it's on the floor, but then other pictures, it's like on the wall. But there's no like relation because they have the thing flips. I'm thinking it's on the wall. But the first picture, it looked like it was on the ground. It's kind of cool. Little from Smithsonian magazine.com. I would go look at that. There's pretty cool pictures looking at. I might put it in the podcast, the video form. Who knows? And this Discover magazine, this is an interesting article. I started hearing or seeing news articles about how, as far as I remember in history class, the Jews as slaves built the pyramids. And now people are saying that the Egyptians wouldn't have used slaves because these were, what was it? There were buildings for religious purposes, and you don't have slaves make your religious, you don't even let them go near it or in it or anything like that because they think obviously lower class people. So it's just kind of interesting that this is becoming, I'm seeing more and more articles like this, and who knows if it's true, but they said that in here, there is no end to conspiracy theories about who built the pyramids. Frequently, they involved ancient aliens, lizard people, the Freemasons, or an advanced civilization that has used forgotten technology. Scientists have tried and failed to combat these baseless ideas, but there is another misconception have tried and failed to combat. I think science, well, because they don't 100% know how they're made. There's all these different theories, but there's no proof dating back then about how they used it. There's some depictions about how they built smaller pyramids, but not the real big ones. There's also some other issue. There's some crazy thing I saw that how they built the pyramids was they're not all the pieces of stone. They're not carved out of rock. They're like a cement mixture, and that would just be the easiest way to build a pyramid. You just put fucking wood, but little boxes with no top, and then pour in the cement, and then let it set, and then remove it. But then there's other scientists that are like, no, all the blocks are not like that. But then some of them are. And then who didn't tell us that some of the blocks were made out of this stuff? This is like, It's very interesting argument back and forth. But back to the article. But there's another misconception about pyramid construction that plagued Egyptian scholars for centuries. Slaves did not build the pyramids. The best evidence suggests that pyramid workers were locals who were paid for their services and ate extremely well. We know this because archaeologists have found their tombs and other signs of their lives they lived. The lives of pyramid workers. In 1990, a number of humble grave sites for pyramid workers were found a surprisingly short distance from the tombs of the pharaohs. Inside, archaeologists discovered all the necessary goods that pyramid workers would need to navigate passage to the afterlife, basic kindnesses unlikely to have been afforded common slaves. But that's not all. Archaeologists have spent years excavating a sprawling complex thought to have been part-time home for thousands of workers. The site is called Hete el Grebr and was also likely part of a larger port city along the Nile River, where food and supplies for the pyramid workers, as well as pyramid construction materials, were imported from across the region. Inside the rubble of that area, the Het el Grab, they found evidence of large barracks where many as 1,600 or more workers could have slept together. An archaeologist, I can't for some reason say that word, also uncovered extensive remains from the many meals they ate, including an abundant bread and huge quantities of meat like cattle, goat, sheep, and fish. And if you know anything, those are good foods, and good foods don't go to slaves because they're slaves. It's very interesting. These workers, graffiti can be found all over the buildings they created. The marks written in Egyptian were hidden on blocks inside the pyramids and were never meant to be seen. They record the names of various work gangs, including the drunkards of Menkure. So these guys were just, this is how you know human beings haven't changed much. These motherfuckers were building the biggest things imaginable at the time. It's just still huge, gigantic. And they're inside the pyramids like, hey, no one's ever going to see this. We're going to write our names, okay? Hey, what's the name of our group? Oh, yeah. Okay. The 6'4" Nillywax, and then they put that on the Egyptian pyramids. It's like, you know, these dudes were like farting, shit jokes. A hot chick would walk by, they would just whistle. Just animals. Like, it moves stone for a living. What do you do for a living? I move rocks. Okay, you can do and say whatever you want to, because nobody else wants to do that job. That's so cool. They're just putting all of their names on shit that's 6,000 years old almost. Is it how old are the pyramids? When do they think they were built? That's the thing. The last pyramid, about 3,500 years ago. So around that's what they think. 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. That's so interesting. Ever since I played Assassin's Creed Origins, I know all about it. And I'm going to talk like I do. There was, what was that Neuralink? Oh, Elon Musk. He's about to be, if he pulls this off, this Neuralink thing, and what it's supposed to do, theoretically, people who are paralyzed might be able to walk again. Because the reason people are paralyzed is because the signal from the brain down to the spinal column gets cut off or severed or damaged for some reason. So you can think of it, in my head, I'm thinking of it like a cable. You cut the cable, but then also if you put receivers, like say a wireless receiver on both ends of that cut cable, you can still get signal. You can reconnect it wirelessly. And I'm thinking that's what they're going for here with the Neuralink. The Neuralink's going to go in your brain, and then wherever the damage is in your spine, or what, I don't know where it works, would go lower on your spine, and then they would send, so you would think about moving your legs, and they would send that signal to the receiver below, and then that would send out electrical impulses, and then it would go to your legs, and they would be able to walk. There was some guy on Twitter who said he's been quadriplegic for most of his life, I guess, after an accident. And he's like, I want to be one of the first people to try this out, please. And Elon Musk wrote back to the guy. He was like, yeah, human trials might start if things progress the way we think they are, human trials might start by the end of the year. And if he starts healing people who can't walk, is he going to be the technological Jesus? Is he going to make the blind see and the crippled walk? We're going to call him that, Tech Jesus. That's going to be, that's nuts. Following this is an article, Elon Musk's Neuralink to start human trials this year as long as things go well. That's the name of the article. And then a few days after this, that's when the quadriplegic tweeted at him. Yes, this is basically an article about the tweets. But this guy, Hamoon Kamai, wrote on Twitter, "Hey, Elon Musk, I've been thinking for a long time how to write this to you, but I'll keep it very simple. I was in a car accident 20 years ago and been paralyzed from the shoulders ever since. I'm always available for clinical studies at Neuralink. Please get in touch." And Elon Musk wrote back, "Neuralink is working super hard to ensure implant safety and is in close communication with the FDA. If things go well, we might be able to do initial..." No, I didn't want that to click on it. Be able to do human trials later this year. Neuralink is a, this is not in the thing. Neuralink, Elon Musk has mentioned Neuralink several times in his recent excursions on Twitter. Just recently, the CEO posted about job openings at the company while highlighting that Neuralink's goals are species level important in the future. Musk later added that those interested in working for Neuralink, partially those with skills and experience on advanced wearables, phones, or robotics, could work at either the company's Bay Area or Austin locations. So cool. Please consider working at Neuralink. Short-term solve brain/spine injuries, long-term human/AI symbiosis, well, however you pronounce that word, putting us together. Can computers make me think better? I think I'm a lost cause, but hopefully they can make other dumb people like me smarter in the future. Very, very interesting. And I want to get into why, I'm going to hypothesize about why Jeff Bezos is no longer the CEO. He's stepping down for a little bit. Why? Why do you think? He did something in his past that he probably might get canceled for, maybe get sued for. Who knows what he's doing? Or he's going to run for some kind of office. And I don't think you can run as being the CEO of somebody. So I think he's getting ready for that 2024 push. Jeff Bezos, hey, look what I did with a book-selling website. I made it the greatest business the planet has ever known. We all love it, right? Hey, do you like getting your facial creams in a day shipping? Same day shipping. You don't have moisturizer? Send it. Get it. Should he be president? Should he? Do we need another businessman? Is he going to run as a Republican? If you're a businessman, can't be a Democrat. I don't know. That's what I hear. That's what I'm saying. But as far as that goes, I think he can't get tired. You can't get tired from having the best job, the most successful job ever. What's he going to do? Something had to go wrong, or something's going to go really right for him. It's one of the two. So you just don't get Jeff Bezos. You don't get tired. After starting all that, it's too big. Amazon's too big. I quit. I'm just going to relax and give up the power that I have as CEO. And then also, if Amazon gets in trouble for anything, the CEO is no longer Jeff Bezos. So maybe he's just getting out of Dodge from things that are like the whole union fiasco. They're fighting. Some of the Amazon workers want to unionize, and they put to run for the union for a vote. And some of the union members wanted to vote by mail. And Amazon said, voting by mail can be too fraudulent. I'm like, huh? Want you guys for mail-in voting for the presidency? How is that any different? You can't use the same paperwork? You can't do that? You're worth like $2 trillion. You can't do that? Now, I don't know if the unions are even going to be successful or not. That's not my point. But just little stories like that, I think he's maybe trying to sidestep or get away from. He doesn't need his name involved. It's going to be interesting. And then there's another thing. One more thing. And another thing. That should be the name of the podcast. And another thing. It's very interesting that people are criticizing that Army Hammer guy for having that fetish about wanting to eat people, wanting to consume other people. I was listening to a podcast and they had on like a dominatrix woman who's supposed to demean people, and people get off on that, treating them like crap. And she's like, oh yeah, that's common. They fantasize about it all the time. She's never experienced someone actually doing it, but they just fantasize about it. So if that's your kink, they're discriminating against something that does not harm. Now, if you're doing self-mutilation and stuff, that's obviously wrong. Or like you're, what is it? You're approving of someone doing harm to you. But is that the same thing as certain people who like to, have it a little rough? Is that the same? Where are we going to draw the line here? Why can't he, as a grown adult, tax-paying individual, send DMs to girls who are interacting with him that he wants to cut their foot off and consume it? What is wrong with that? Fantasy, not real life here. We're talking hypothetical. Just that is animalistic urge to want to eat people. I don't get it. But just because I don't get something, I'm not into men. I don't get that. But I don't judge what they do. I don't judge people who, there's things called pup play on the internet where people dress up in dog masks and get led around their house on a leash, and where they can't do anything but bark. There are grown men, and it's always men doing that, by the way. This is kind of strange. But I digress. I don't understand why this guy has allegedly completely harmless fetish, and he's getting criticized about it. So you get canceled for having sex with a whole bunch of women. Yep, Derek Jeter is still fine. The man you rumored gave gift baskets. So apparently if you have sex with a whole bunch of women and you're just nice about it, you're fine. But if you're ignoring people, having sex with a girl, they get upset, you're ignoring them, and they get mad, and they're like, hey, he did this when I was in 2019. So can we just if you want to pretend to open someone's chest cavity, reach in and grab their heart while it's still beating, and consume it, and use blood for lubrication. These are all things he said. This is news. I'm not making any of this stuff up. If he wants to do it, why not? Let him play around. Let him play. Let him have fun. Why is that not fun? Have you ever tried it? No, then don't knock it. We have all these little taboo things in the world. And when the taboo thing, they just need to be out in the open. Okay, don't shun these people. And I have the same issue with people wanting to ban someone for their political beliefs. I'm going to tie this in. Don't do it. Because those people are still going to exist. They're just going to exist in the dark corners of society. And we're not going to know what they're up to. Let them in the group. Hey, you like pretending to having sex with dogs and animals? Come on in. You don't touch a dog, though. We have rules. Don't touch a dog. You can be the dog. You can pretend to be the dog. Or the fur baby. Whatever you want to be. Whatever you want to dress up as long as two consensual adults doing it, it's fine. Don't touch the dog. But come on in. You want these people to be close to you. So you know what's going on. So nothing surprises you. Like, hey, I didn't know that existed. It's fine. if you like to lay down on, on a hardwood floor and have some dominatrix walk all over you in stilettos, go for it. It's okay. And I don't know. It's just interesting. What's the limit if you're just fantasizing about it? Is there anything wrong with it? If people are doing it willingly, what's wrong with it? I'm not sure. And the woman was obviously texting him back, but then she only released his text messages. What was she saying? Why did she leave out her parts of the story or parts of the text messages? Is it because she was egging him on? Is it because she was kind of into it? Like, you don't just send out 30 messages like that unless someone is talking to you back. Now, if he did that on the unwanted text messages, send all those things just willy-nilly, you don't send those kind of text messages half-heartedly. You got to make sure you got to trust the person. You got to make sure that they're into it as well. Maybe he's off the deep end. Maybe he was on some drugs. Maybe he was, coked up a little bit. Maybe he had COVID. He took too much Tylenol. He got a little sleepy. I'm not making excuses for the guy, but if he wants to fantasize, about eating fingers and toes, why not? When women see a little tiny baby, they say out loud, "I just want to eat his little toes." What is that? What's that? Are we going to call that out? I don't know. Society is weird, and the things that we accept are strange. But let's not cast somebody out, okay? Let's not criticize if he's not doing any harm to anybody. The only harm is people hearing the story and going, "Whoa, I didn't know that existed. That's crazy." And that's the only harm. Get over yourself. Let the guy do whatever he wants to. Everyone's accepted now. You want to be in the group? Everyone's in the group. Nobody is cast. No one's a cast out anymore. You're accepting everything. There are no rules. The only rule is you cannot appropriate somebody else's culture. You can't do that. But only a culture that has been discriminated against in the country. You have to be in that country, though. Because if you're in Africa or like Germany, wherever, and the minorities there, whatever the minorities are, they can complain. Because they've been obviously discriminated against. I don't know if that last one made any sense, but I'm trying here. I'm reaching. I think the Army Hammer thing is a good argument. I don't know if that last part was, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I think if you're into that stuff, you should be allowed to do whatever you want to. Why not? It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see if there's anything. I jotted down some topics. We're about at the hour. Let's see. I think everything's good. Yeah, LeBron. Yeah, the whole LeBron. I was going to talk about LeBron James and that Instagram model. Already did a little bit, but there was more air in that lady's lips, that bitch's lips, than was that basketball. She needs to calm down. Okay. Her boob job probably cost as much as those courtside seats. That skinny, fucking no having toned arms, just skeleton of a woman. She was drinking. She saw LeBron James and you're telling me you wouldn't want to just get manhandled by LeBron James other than your husband? He was talking to my husband, and my husband, nobody talks to him like that. I'm 25. He's 69. I'm about to stick up for him. LeBron James talking about steroids. I was like, hey, dude, we're all not genetically gifted from God himself, okay? We have to put a little juice. Give me a little shot in my rear end. Get my juices going. Okay, don't criticize us unathletic white people, all right? And I didn't even see pictures of him. LeBron just said he was steroid ass. That's fine. And you're going to act LeBron like you've never taken anything? Are you kidding me? You look like a Greek god. That's 100% legitimate? I don't think so. Okay, you're taking some stuff. You're taking stuff that's so advanced, they're not going to be able to detect it years from now. Stuff that doesn't even show up on the NBA's drug policy. I guess like actual steroids is on the ban list, but anything else, any other little tweak or altercation of it, different version, the different strands. Did you hear about all the COVID strands that's going to mutate and we're going to be back here at the same, but everything's going to get back to normal now that Trump's gone. Where are the stimulus checks? No, they're not. No. Ha. We're not going to give you our money. And that's what's hilarious about people like my friend Ray. The Democrats are going to take over, and they can't even agree amongst themselves. There's a reason they're called the Do-Nothing Democrats, because they don't get much done. Small incremental, and that's good. That's good. We don't want wide swings. We want small incremental steps. We make 2 or 3 steps towards the right goal, and we got a little crazy with Donald Trump. We elected someone in who didn't know how to talk like a president and just turned everybody against each other. In this, he can be racist people think he's racist, but then in a speech, but then in that speech, he condemns white supremacy. So I don't know what he's saying that's dividing everybody. There's tons of things you can say that he did that nobody liked, and that's fine. If you just shut up and stop talking. He's the guy at shut up and stop talking. Like, why don't you look in a mirror, Chase? You've been talking for an hour right now. I know, but I'm not talking about how good I am. We're the best. They've got the best people working on it. It's great. Don't worry. We're going to do everything. Well, what do you want to do? Well, we got the best people on that job. Don't even worry about it. Profits are through the roof. Best it's ever done in the history of America. I loved when he said, I've done more for black people than any other president. And then he remembered that Abraham Lincoln existed. It's like, besides Lincoln, maybe the best. I'm like, no. You forgot about the president that altered in civil rights. I forgot what the guy's name was. Me too, right now. I think I already looked this up. President during what's the guy's name? What was the man's name? Is it Eisenhower? Less for civil rights than Truman, Kennedy, his own Catholic. No. President during 1964. Johnson. Thought it was a J. Didn't say it out loud, though. President Johnson, 1964. That's crazy. That isn't that long ago. Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson. He was a Democrat, but he's terrible. Anyways, that's been the podcast. That's the end of the Chase Carter Concept Podcast for Thursday, February 4th. I hope you enjoyed it, and you'll be hearing from me next week. All right, see you guys later. Take it easy. Easy on you. You got this shit knocking low.